Speaking of endings, here's one that is not even closed. We wish it were. The pandemic is not over. The Wuhan virus is still spreading. Infections are rising once again in many parts of the world. In Russia, for instance, cases have spiked. Daily deaths are at an all-time high. In the United Kingdom, 500,000 cases have been reported in the last 2 weeks. And a new kind of Delta variant, according to some reports. Even China is fighting another outbreak. Dozens of cases have been reported in at least 10 provinces. How are these countries dealing with the fresh outbreaks, and what does it mean for the world heading into the holiday season? Our next report explores.
This may sound like deja vu, but the Wuhan virus has resurfaced. The Delta variant has become a cause of concern. It is sending several countries into another lockdown. In Russia, where a Delta subvariant is spreading, new infections have hit a second consecutive daily record at 37,141 cases. Daily deaths too have surged to a fourth-day record, with 1,028 dying in the last 24 hours alone. To curb a further spike in infections, the Kremlin has decided to impose a week-long workplace shutdown. October 30th to November 7th will be non-working days across Russia, aimed at breaking the chain of infections. In the United Kingdom, the situation is no better. Cases are on the rise. Hospitalizations have increased in the last 2 weeks. 500,000 cases have been reported, with 50,000 cases recorded on Monday alone. That's more cases than what France, Germany, Italy and Spain are reporting combined. On Tuesday, daily deaths reached 223, the highest daily figure since March this year. With winter approaching, there are strong indications that another lockdown is in the offing. Not far away in Latvia, a 4-week lockdown has been imposed to slow a spike in daily infections. Latvia is one of the least vaccinated countries in Europe. Only 54% of its adult population has been fully vaccinated. This is well below the European Union average of 74%. The result is this: Latvia is reporting the second worst infection numbers, with 3,133 infections reported in the last 24 hours. The country will now impose a stringent lockdown till November 15th.
First of all, my apologies to those Latvian residents who have been responsible and acted in their own interest, as well as in interest of their families and country, and got vaccinated. We as the government and society as a whole have not succeeded in achieving a high enough vaccination coverage. So we must also ask you to suspend your lives for several weeks to avoid the worst possible scenario.
Back in Asia, China is fighting a new outbreak, primarily in the country's northwest. Dozens of cases have been reported in at least 10 provinces. The CCP, which has maintained a relentless zero cases approach, has rolled out mass testing and shut down tourist sites to combat the surge. In New Zealand too, the cases have skyrocketed to touch an all-time high. Most of the new cases are being reported in Auckland, the largest city in the country. Numbers are still in dozens, but New Zealand, which was one of the best records on tackling the virus, is not taking any chances. It plans to extend the lockdown in the city for 2 more weeks. As for the rest of the country, the restrictions will only be eased when 90% of its population is fully vaccinated.
We've looked at all of the evidence, talked to experts, looked at modelling for our situation, and set a target of 90% fully vaccinated for each DHB in New Zealand.
22 months into the pandemic, and we're still a long way from taming the virus, struggling with one wave after another. How long will this cycle persist? It is still hard to predict. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.